What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JBsports back again with another one. Tyson Fury did a video recently and said that he's not willing to pay Wilder step-aside money. You know, there's been a rumor going around that $10 million was the asking price for Wilder to step aside. And Tyson Fury in the video with one of his homeboys said he wouldn't pay Wilder $2 million to step aside. He'd rather give him a battering. And this is a bunch of BS. Wilder has exercised the rematch clause. He did it shortly after the defeat to Tyson Fury. Did it shortly after. Within days of the loss, he exercised his rematch clause, and he has gave no indication that he's willing to take step-aside money. So all these AJ fanboys and nut huggers are out here asking Wilder to step aside. And these are the same people that when he lost to Andy Ruiz and people were asking Anthony Joshua to step aside, they were like, no, AJ shouldn't step aside. He has a rematch clause. Let him get a chance to right the wrong. Let him get a chance to get his titles back. And now they're the same people asking Wilder to step aside. These people are just, you know, bogus. These people are bogus, contradicting themselves at every turn. And that's what they do. You know what I'm saying? Number one, Anthony Joshua has a mandatory versus Kubrat Pulev. Pulev is not stepping aside. He's been saying in an interview he's going to knock Joshua out. He thinks Joshua is sweet. Joshua is weak, got a soft chin, been exposed by the Pillsbury Doughboy, Andy Ruiz. He wants his shot at him. He feels he's a better fighter than Andy Ruiz, and he'll come in much better shape than Andy Ruiz came in the first and second fight. And he feels he can get the job done on AJ. That's number one. Number two, Deontay Wilder's got a rematch clause. He exercised it shortly after the defeat to Tyson Fury. So let's kill that noise talking about an AJ Fury fight. And I'm going to let another cat out the bag right now. If AJ defeats Kubrat Pulev and Tyson Fury defeats Deontay Wilder in the trilogy, that fight's not happening next if they both win. That's another thing that's being brought out that's a straight up lie. Oh, if AJ and Tyson Fury win, they're going to fight each other 2021. They just got to get through their next fights and they'll fight next. No, they won't. Tyson Fury has obligated, he's got to fight Dillian Whyte by February of 2021. Maybe that gets pushed back a little bit, but he must fight him next. The Tyson Fury-Deontay Wilder winner must fight Dillian Whyte next. Now, if Dillian Whyte gets knocked off by Alexander Povetkin, a.k.a. the PED King, then that'll maybe open the door for Tyson Fury to pursue another fight. But even if that's the case, AJ's got to fight Alexander Usyk. He's next in line. Alexander Usyk has gave no indication that he'll be willing to step aside. If he gets by Derek Chisora, and that's a big if, by the way. If he gets by Derek Chisora, he's next in line. Now, it might be a little wiggle room with the WBO that they might be willing to let AJ take another fight in the interim. But as far as Tyson Fury goes, he cannot take another fight if Dillian Whyte defeats Alexander Povetkin. He must fight Alexander Povetkin. Same goes for Deontay Wilder. If he defeats Tyson Fury in the trilogy, he must fight Dillian Whyte next if Dillian Whyte gets by Povetkin. There's no. Now you can say, well, maybe we'll pay Dillian Whyte step aside money, but Dillian Whyte has been waiting his turn for a while now. He's been lying a lot, talking about he's been the mandatory for 2,000 days and saying outrageous comments like that. But he's been the mandatory since he defeated Oscar Rivas in a controversial win when he did a lot of shady things in that fight. I'm not gonna go into detail, but you can all remember what's going on and just read the backdrop of that fight, and you'll know what I'm talking about. But he became the mandatory when he defeated Oscar Rivas. Okay, he became the mandatory when he defeated Oscar Rivas. And so he's been waiting since then, and he's obligated to get his title shot. Ever since he was knocked out by Anthony Joshua, he's won all his fights since then. So he's put himself in a position to become to fight for the title. So he's showed no inclinations to take step aside money. So that'll be the fight they'll be making next. And why would Eddie Hearn and Matchroom not make double their money? Why wouldn't they not put Dillian Whyte in there with Fury? They're going to make some money off that fight. If Tyson Fury wins, then they set up Tyson Fury versus AJ, they can make money off that fight. Or even if Dillian Whyte upsets Tyson Fury, then you got an in-house fight between Dillian Whyte and AJ. Why would they not go that route instead of putting AJ against Tyson Fury right off the bat? Tyson Fury ices AJ, like I think he will, and then now the Matchroom Boxing is on the outside looking in. You know what I'm saying? They don't have none of the titles under their stable, and they're in a bad situation. Why would they do that? Matchroom and Eddie Hearn are a lot of things, but they're not stupid. So that's going to be the route they're going to go in. People, y'all need to just recognize and understand boxing, man. I know boxing. JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. You know what I'm saying? I know boxing. You guys, Johnny-come-latelys, come out here with all this crazy stuff. You believe anything people tell you. They want to sell you a bill of goods. You're going to buy it tenfold. They're just doing stupid stuff, man. They're just buying and falling for anything. You need to stand for something. If you don't stand for something, you fall for anything. It seems like that's what you guys do, man. Y'all fall for anything. It's a bunch of BS. Tyson Fury and AJ is not on the horizon. It's not happening this year. It's going to happen maybe 2021, summertime of 2021 at the earliest. It's at least 2 fights away. At least 2 fights away, especially for Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury going to knock out 2 birds before he get that AJ Stone and get the fat fight with AJ. AJ might can beat Kubrat Pulev, and he might be able to go to Tyson Fury next, depending on what the WBE rule they had to fight Alexander Usyk mandatory next, or will they give him a wiggle room to take a voluntary? That's still up in the air. But as far as Tyson Fury, he has no wiggle room. If he defeats Deontay Wilder and Dillian Whyte defeats Alexander Povetkin, he must fight Dillian Whyte next, or he will get stripped of the WBC title. That's just what it is. Okay. So that's fight at least 2 fights away. So in the meantime, the more likely scenario is Anthony Joshua fights Kubrat Pulev and then fights Alexander Usyk. Take care of those 2 fights while Tyson Fury takes care of Deontay Wilder and then fights Dillian Whyte next. And then after that, you're looking at that fight at the earliest summer 2021. More likely at the end of 2021 to be more exact. I think that's probably the best. The best answer for when that fight takes place, the end of 2021. It's not taking place early 2021. If you think that's gonna happen, I got some Lakewood, beautiful waterfront property that I want to sell you in Louisiana. If you believe that, okay? If you believe that situation, it's crazy. Okay, that's just what it is. But Tyson Fury is out here bumping his gums, talking big man talk. He's a great talk, great communicator. We'll see what happens again in the trilogy with Deontay Wilder. Don't call Deontay Wilder out. You know, he said that he wasn't right. As soon as he walked into the ring and before the bell sounded for round 1, he said he just did not feel like himself. So give a man a chance to get his titles back. He gave Tyson Fury an opportunity the first time when Tyson Fury wasn't even a mandatory. Tyson Fury just came off a cocaine binge and fought 3 underwhelming opponents and got the title shot with the WBC champ Deontay Wilder. And then that fight ended up in a draw. No matter what these people get up in here and say that Tyson Fury won, 3 judges came to a conclusion that fight was a draw. One gave it to Tyson, one gave it to Wilder, the other one had it a draw. Okay, it could easily have been a knockout loss for Tyson Fury. After the 12th round knockout, could have easily been waved out as he laid on the canvas motionless with his eyes rolled on the back of his head. For some reason, Jack Reese wanted to count a man that was asleep. How you gonna count a man that is sleeping, ain't comprehending, and don't know what's going on? You count him, and then all of a sudden he wakes up. Give him credit, like the Undertaker, and gets up and finishes that round off. But that fight ended up in a draw, and in the rematch, while the team already had a rematch clause that whoever. And Tyson Fury team had a rematch clause. Whoever lost that fight could exercise a immediate rematch, and it'll be 60-40 for the winner. And that's the negotiating of the terms that happened before the second fight. So all you Johnny-come-latelys asking Deontay Wilder to step aside, y'all out y'all mind. Y'all don't know Deontay Wilder. You don't know the pride that he has. You don't know the man that he is, the principal he is. He's already told you it wasn't about the money. He was willing to go over there and fight AJ for $15 million over there in the UK, when he knew that he was worth more than that for a fight with AJ. You know, he offered AJ $50 million to fight him in Las Vegas, 50-50 pay-per-view split. And Anthony Joshua let Eddie Hearn, really not let Eddie Hearn, but let Barry Hearn. He let Barry Hearn talk him out of it. He let Barry Hearn talk him out of it. You see what I'm saying? He let Barry Hearn talk him out of it, and Eddie Hearn talk him out of that payday. I don't think he let him talk him out of it. The contract he got with Matchroom Boxing is a slave contract. It's a slave contract. He has no control over his career. He has no say over his career. Whoever Eddie Hearn tells him to fight, he fights. He told him to fight Alexander Povetkin, that's who he fought. No matter if he wanted to fight Wilder for the $50 million. He had no say in it. And that's what it was. They playing games in the media, making it look like AJ is a made man. AJ makes all the calls. AJ ain't got no calls. That's why AJ getting ready to fight Kubrat Pulev. Number 1, they don't want to get stripped of the belt. Number 2, Eddie Hearn wants him to fight them. And they make all the calls. They make all the calls. Unlike Wilder, who has control of his career. He wanted to fight Luis Ortiz. People around him said, "Nah, don't fight Luis Ortiz. He's too dangerous. He's too dangerous, man. You sit back and wait, man. You're gonna eventually get an Anthony Joshua unification fight. You're gonna get a fight with Tyson. You're gonna get a rematch with Tyson Fury." He said, "Kill that noise. I want to fight Luis Ortiz. He's the boogeyman of the division. He's a southpaw, a very tricky fighter, a very skilled fighter, a very talented, skilled fighter. Let me get in there and fight him." And he was able to get in there and knock out Luis Ortiz in a fight. So that's the difference between AJ and Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder calls the shots, and AJ submits and goes, and has no choice but to submit and goes along with whatever Eddie Hearn and Barry Hearn says. That's just the truth of the matter. If you disagree, just look at the history and just look at who AJ has said he wanted to fight, and look at who AJ actually has fought. He's been calling, he said he wants to fight Fury right now. Who he's getting ready to fight? Kubrat Pulev. Why? Because Matchroom Boxing wants him to fight Kubrat Pulev. They don't want to get stripped of the belts. They look at those 3 belts as their calling card, saying that AJ is the king holder in the heavyweight division because he's got the majority of the belts. They're not willing to relinquish that. Okay, so that's just what it is. AJ might not even want to fight Ruiz in a rematch. He probably, I don't know if he did, if he didn't. He got in there and did what he had to do against an obese, severely overweight Andy Ruiz. He was able to jab and grab his way to a boring decision. But who to say that he probably didn't want to take a step aside money and get his mind right after getting embarrassed and knocked out by the fat man in New York? Who to say he wouldn't? Who to say he wouldn't want to step aside? But he couldn't step aside, even if he wanted to step aside. As I said before, Eddie Hearn and Barry Hearn call all the shots. They've got a slave contract, and AJ fights who they tell him to fight. No ifs, ands, or buts. That's just what it is. Leave your comments in the comment section what you think about Tyson Fury saying that he's not willing to pay Deontay Wilder $2 million to step aside. He'd rather give him a battering. And after that fight, he's looking at 2 fights with Anthony Joshua, and he's looking to fight all the contenders. The Andy Ruizes of the world, the Luis Ortiz, the Dillian White, the Daniel Dubois, the Joe Joyce. He's willing to take on all comers. He said he doesn't have nothing better to do. So we'll see what happens, man. But first he's got to get through the bronze bomb again. And still the details to be determined on where that fight will take place. Right now, if you ask me where that fight is going to take place, I think the fight's probably going to have to take place overseas, as the United States is not going to be having any kind of large gatherings for the foreseeable future. So look for that fight to take place maybe in Macau, China, as Bob Arum has ties there already for doing 2 pay-per-views with Manny Pacquiao, one versus Brandon Rios and another one against Chris Algieri, as they did 2 big pay-per-view cards over there already. So he already have the connections over there. So he's looking into that, and if I had to say right now, that would probably be my best guess to stage the Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder trilogy in Macau, China. It'll be looking to take place over there on pay-per-view. And look for that fight to be at a lower pay-per-view price than it was before. I think the Wilder Fury 2 fight was around $80, around there, 80 something dollars, 80 plus. Look for this fight to be around $40, $45. They're gonna have to cut down these pay-per-view prices due to the coronavirus pandemic, due to the fact that people are struggling to make ends meet in a lot of cases, and so look for them to pare down the prices for the pay-per-view. Bobby Arum came out and stated that recently. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what transpires. But leave your comments in the comment section. What you think about Tyson Fury saying he won't pay Wilder $2 million to step aside. He's going to beat him and batter him again. And what you think about all these people coming out asking Wilder to step aside when they didn't want AJ to step aside after he lost to Andy Ruiz. Hypocritical type of people. Let me know what you think in the comment section. This is JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. Holla.